everyone, what is up? Welcome back to my channel. If you're new, my name is Brianna, and today we are doing my May reset routine, which I'm actually really excited about because I did a few different things with my reset routine this month that I actually think I'm gonna take moving forward. Now, I've tried a few reset routines before. You know, I've tried to break my goals out. I've tried to make, you know, different categories, and I've really only done this about 2 or 3 times. However, I just felt like every single month was just, I wasn't accomplishing everything that I wanted to accomplish, and I just wanted like a fresh, I'm also like moving around today because I'm not in my normal vlogging space. I'm actually at Corey's mom's today, which if you're new, that's my fiance. And I just feel like this month and like resetting was really, really needed. I had such a beautiful, beautiful April. We came back from Florida, we did a little spurt Disney weekend before we left Florida, and then been home like enjoying family, getting back into a routine. It's been nice to vlog in my own space again. It was just a really great month. I will say I had some struggles, right? I don't think it was like the best month. It was probably, you know, there definitely could have been some different things going on in that month, but I've got my nice little Chipotle Diet Coke. Corey and I just went to Chipotle for lunch today because I was just like in the mood. It's a beautiful sunny day. It's not like 1,000,000 degrees by any means, but it is like a warm, really nice day. So I wanted to sit outside, and I just didn't feel like eating what we had in the fridge. I just like wasn't in the mood. I was in the mood for a little Chipotle. Quick, was lazy, and just didn't feel like it. So let's get into this month's reset routine. I tried my goals differently this month, but if you're new to the reset routines, I like to do a little bit of reflection. So we're gonna talk about that, reflect on the month that we just had. We're gonna look at my April goals. I already know that not a lot of them were accomplished, but that's okay, that's okay. I've gotten better at the way that I want to start to goal set for myself and what works for me. So we're gonna look at May. I reset, I did my goals for May different. Then we're gonna look at my goals for May and talk about just my of the month series from April, which if you're new, my of the month series is basically just like my favorite current products, favorite things, favorite whatever it is, but it's just my favorites of the month. So I'm sitting a little like wonky today because where I'm sitting, like I like the backdrop. The bed is so like, let me try to back you up a little bit. Like the bed is so soft and smushy. Okay, that even feels just a little bit better. The bed is so, also those little things are gonna bother me, but that's just because of my perfectionist brain. The bed is so smushy and so soft that I like sit and I like sink in. So I have to sit as like close to the edge as possible. Okay, this is just getting chaotic, but I've got my soda. Let's get into my reset routine for May, and let's start out with my April reflection. Alrighty, so let's get into the April reflection. I went ahead and put it on the screen. I also have it right here in front of me so we can kind of talk through it together. But every month when I'm reflecting, and actually before I even jump into the April reflection, what I ended up doing this time that was different from some of my resets in the past is I actually had a kind of a bad day yesterday, so I ended up taking a nice shower. I put on some fresh PJs, I listened to a podcast, and I actually reset at night before I was gonna film this video rather than the morning that I was gonna film this reset. I actually think that that really helped me and put me in such a better headspace. So this reset feels really intentional. It just feels better. It feels like I've finally maybe understood myself a little bit more, and I'm really grateful for that. So that is what I did for this reset. But like I was saying, every single month that I'm resetting, I have a list in an Excel document of questions that I want to use to reflect, or you know, as almost like prompting questions or like guiding lights as I start reflecting on the month. So I pick different reflection questions every single month. This month I picked my 3 favorite moments or memories, what lessons did you learn, what made my days enjoyable, what could have made them more enjoyable, and then my words of the month. So we will dive into it. So first and foremost, my 3 favorite moments and favorite memories. The first was our Disney weekend. So if you're new to the channel, we enjoy Disney World. We like to go. I'm not gonna sit here and like, you know, ramble on about it because whoever likes Disney does, and if you don't, you don't. It's up to you, you know. Whatever, do you. And I also have an itch in my nose and I don't want to let it sit there. We went to Disney for a long weekend. We went from a Friday to a Sunday. We did the water park. We had a full resort rest day, which we've never really done before. And we did Animal Kingdom as well. It was such a wonderful memory. It was Corey and I's first time. Also, you all know I love to mess with my hair. It was Corey and I's first time, honestly, like going to a Disney resort and just like not going to the park at all, and it was just like having a full resort day. We always try to do that, and it just like sometimes it works, sometimes it doesn't, and it was actually the first kind of like Disney day that felt like a real vacation, and I loved that. So I would say that was like an amazing memory. The next was Corey's birthday dinner. So I actually ended up taking Corey, myself, my best friend Angela, and her fiance Ricky out to dinner at Barcelona Wine Bar, and we had just like the best time. I thought it was a great birthday dinner, and it was just so nice to celebrate Corey. I love celebrating him, and when his birthday comes around, I feel like I enjoy celebrating him, of course, even more. Like, don't you enjoy celebrating people that you love? So that was just a lovely memory, and we hadn't seen them since we were in Florida for about 7 weeks, so it was so nice to get back with them. And then last but certainly not least, finally getting our Disney annual passes, where it was a 5.5 hour long wait in the morning in a virtual queue, and me and Corey waking up at 5:30. Walt Disney World. It was so worth it. I am so excited. It was like such a fun, chaotic, like crazy morning, and we just had so much fun like getting our annual passes together. It feels so good to be annual pass holders and now be able to like maximize going to Disney, and I'm just really excited. So I would definitely say that that was without a doubt a favorite memory and moment. What lessons did you learn? That mental health is greater than anything else. I have been someone all my life that I don't want to say that mental health didn't exist or that mental health wasn't a priority for me, but like, for lack of a better phrase, it was. I never really understood mental health. I never really understood a lot of that stuff. I've always been someone who has been extremely strong-willed and very strong-minded and very independent, and I am so grateful to have those qualities in my life and parents that have really instilled those things in me. I'm also Italian, right? So being in that kind of, you know, Italian culture and having to be thick-skinned and everything. However, I've realized that doing things for me, for my mental health, protecting my peace, protecting things that mean a lot to me is something that I need to start putting way more energy and way more effort in. And for example, I'll give something that happened to me this month that really kind of triggered that. So we came home from Florida on like a Saturday night. Sunday was Easter. The following weekend, Corey was golfing on a Saturday, and I just sat at home all morning, and what I realized was that I can't just be stuck at home. I am adjusting to suburbia. We have left Boston, Massachusetts. We left warm Florida. Like, I just realized that putting myself and my mental health first and doing things for me would have been beneficial and is going to be beneficial moving forward, and it is greater than like anything else. I need to protect those things about me. Like, I could have had Corey drop me off at the bookstore before going to golf, and because we only have one car. So I think just like that was a big learning moment for me this month, that mental health exists, it is important, and I need to start prioritizing my own because it is imperative. And the next thing was limiting social media. I found myself this month like sitting on the couch being bored of a TV show and picking up my phone, scrolling, and then putting my phone down, and within 5 minutes I was picking it up again. And I have to stop. Like, that is a lesson that I learned this month. I literally saw myself saying, you have a goal on Sundays to be off your phone by 9, and you are actively going against that just to scroll and consume content on social media. So those two things wrapped into one. I've just learned that like social media, I need to limit. I really need to start limiting myself. And listen, I almost don't consider YouTube social media. Like, where it is, I don't consider it. Like, I'll watch YouTube for hours. It feels like I'm watching TV, but I mean like scrolling on TikTok, scrolling on Instagram, like being on my phone social media, I feel like feels just so much more detrimental. So I think I might be taking, I don't want to say a break from social media at all, but I'm going to limit my screen time well more than I ever have in the past. And that's a big lesson that I've learned that I'd really like to implement. What made my days enjoyable? The first is the sunshine. Now, because we left Connecticut on February 22nd and we went to Florida, we've been in the sunshine. However, April in Connecticut had some beautiful sunshine days, like going into the office and like having sunshine come through the windows, and like we had some really warm days, which was beautiful. So I was definitely so happy about the sunshine. Being back and sleeping in my own bed and being in my own space was truly so needed. I like didn't realize that I needed it until we finally came back and I slept in my own bed and I had my dresser drawers and we could just throw in laundry. Like, not that we couldn't do those things in Florida, because we're really grateful that we have a designated space in Florida that's ours, right? We have our own bedroom, we have our own bathroom, but it's just nice to be in your own bed and your own closet and your own office space. Like, all of those things are so important, and that is something that made my days so enjoyable, was finally being back in my own space. And then last was vlogging made me so happy. I feel like this month, where at the end of the month being at Corey's mom's was a little, like right now is a little bit challenging because we're just spending time with family, so I'm not vlogging. Vlogging during the day and just like weekdays in my life, and you know, like vlogging, I've just been like in my vlogging era moment. Like, I've just been enjoying it so much more recently. So vlogging brought me so much joy, and I have so much coming for May, which I'm really excited about. Obviously we have our Disney vlogs that will be coming, but I just have a few vlogs that I'm really excited to get up on the channel. There's going to be some bonus uploads for the first time, and I just feel like vlogging has put me in such a great space. What could have made them more enjoyable? More outside time and more fresh air. I missed being outside. So where we did leave Florida and the sunshine was there, I was never getting fresh air. I was never sitting outside because it was still cold here. Like 50 degrees, I don't want to sit outside for 35, I'd say 35 minutes, like that's a long time. 3 to 4 hours. I just don't want to, and where it's great to do those things, I just didn't prioritize that this month. So I think that that would have made my days way more enjoyable. And then last was weeknight activities. That was something that where we necessarily didn't have it in Florida. Getting out on the deck when it was nice out, or walking to the pool, or swimming, or, you know, getting ice cream once a week. We were in Florida, it was nice weather. I feel like what would have made this month more enjoyable was spending more, which you'll see in my kind of like May goals, more thoughtful time out of the house, and like actually making an effort for weeknight activities, like going to Singo, or getting dinner with some friends, going to brunch with my sister-in-law, just like things I think I would have wished I did during the, I say brunch, like I can go to brunch on a weeknight. Like, I just mean doing more things outside of the house I wish I prioritized. And then my words of the month that I really wanted to implement this month that I think were very much for me was rhythm. I feel like this month sometimes I was in a rhythm and like in a groove, and other times I was not, but I feel like finally being back in our own space, visiting family, and just being able to be a little bit flatlined where we feel like everything around us is ours and it just belongs to us, if that makes sense, felt really good. And then peace. I have learned this month over any month of any that putting my mental health first, doing things for me, and being open about those things is important. Protecting my peace is important. Doing those things are important. And that's why I wanted to include some words of the month this month. I felt like those really resonated with me, and I just felt like that was a really beautiful way to end my April reflection. So with that being said, I have now just finished up my April reflection, and now we are going to head into my reflection on my April goals. All right, so let's get into these April goals. So we have wellness, financial, social media, and personal. I also, of course, I just had to hit the camera, but I also scribbled on my hand already with this Sharpie, so pretend like that's not there. But let's dive into these April goals. Let's start in the wellness category, 30 outside hours. I did have 30 outside hours this month. I tried to make sure that I got a lot of those outside hours in when we were still in Florida. I have a goal of 730 outside hours this month. I knew that April would be a little more challenging, but I'm happy that I got the 30 outside hours. 2 walks per week. I was walking nowhere. I'm just, you know, I gotta be in my walking era, and I'm just not there yet. 2 new recipes a week. We didn't even cook one. Like I said, we were just getting back into the swing of things, so that really didn't go well. And then face mask oh, I just circled that in. I meant to cross it out. All right, well, we did not do 2 new recipes, so whoops. And then face mask every week. I did not do that either. Let's go into financial. This is where I actually feel so good. I feel like I put a lot of priority into my financial stuff this month. So $300 into the emergency fund. We did that. That felt really good. $200 of Disney gift cards. I did that as well. Mindful spending. I had a lot of mindful spending this month. I really was only buying what I needed, and if I was treating myself, it wasn't like an astronomical amount of me treating. It was like little things, which I felt good about. And then $500 in the wedding fund. We also did that as well, so that was a huge win. Now let's go into social media. 4 photo dumps on Instagram. I can check right now, and I know that the month is not yet over. However, I'm gonna look really quickly right now on Instagram. I don't think that there's a way, but see, I did only one photo dump. There's no way that I'll be able to do like 3 more. We only have a few days left, so we're gonna just X that out. 2 reels on Instagram. I did do 2 reels on Instagram, so that was a win. No phone past 9 p.m. on Sundays. I didn't really prioritize that. And then the last one was brainstorm a new podcast page. This one I didn't do, but we did kind of think of some new things for the podcast, so that was nice. It wasn't like a full brainstorm, but we did like a decent amount of it. Personal, read 2 physical books. No, I did not read 2 physical books, but I did read a lot on my Kindle this month. Single with friends, I didn't get to do. At-home date night ×2. I am going to actually circle this in because we are going to do an at-home date night this weekend, and we did one last week, so that counts. And then try a new coffee shop. We did not do that either. So April goals, not so great. Let's see, we got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 of the 4, 8, 12, 16 goals. Not too bad, but I've got a lot of new kind of goals that I'm really excited about. So now that we have looked at these April goals, let's take a look at my goals for May. So now we are into talking about my May goals, which I am so excited about. I'm gonna pop them on the screen over here. We did some different things for my May goals, and let me tell you, this feels so good. I don't know if Brianna on May 31st will be saying the same thing, but Brianna today on April 26th, man, does she feel good about these goals and how I've structured them. I feel like some are attainable, some are, as you'll see at the bottom, a stretch. So let's just get into it. Let's talk a little bit before we even like get into the goals, why I decided to do my goals differently instead of kind of bulleting them out by category. The categories for me were starting to feel really restrictive, and I started feeling like if I only had one financial goal a month, that was not enough. And if I didn't have that many social media goals in a month, that wasn't enough. I just kept feeling like I wasn't enough in my goals, and I felt like I had to push farther for things that either didn't feel attainable or that I honestly just didn't want to categorize. So we've scratched categorizing for this month, and instead of calling them goal, I mean, yes, they're my May goals, but at the top it just says 12 things to accomplish. They're things that I want to accomplish this month, and this feels like I have a little bit more of a bite-sized chunk list. Let's see how this works for the month, but I did a lot of reflecting on when I wanted my goals to be this month, took into consideration that we're going on vacation. What can I implement? What can I kind of stack either if we're on vacation or if we're home or whatever that might be. So the goals are on the screen, or things to accomplish. Let's talk about it. And then we'll talk about the 5, that says 5, oh yeah, 5 stretch goals. Is there supposed to be a T? T-C-H. Okay, regardless. Stretch goals, I can't spell. Like, if my life depended on spelling, my best friend Angela can attest, I would be dead. I would literally be dead. But 12 things to accomplish this month. The first is I want to get another $200 of Disney gift cards to use on our trip in May. So that will be a goal that I'll be able to accomplish in probably the next like week or so, because I want to have them for our trip. Next is I want to read 2 physical books. I'm currently halfway through The Wife Upstairs, or a little bit, maybe less. It's still a little slow. I'm not loving it right now, but I have so many great physical books on my bookshelf at home that it is a goal of mine to like read physical books this month. And if we were not going to Disney, then I would say only on the Kindle, but we're going to Disney and I would have maybe put more physical books, but trying to be a little bit more realistic. Next is 75 outside hours. So if this is your first reset you're seeing of mine, I have a goal this year to reach 730 outside hours, which is 2 hours per day times 365 days. Now, on average, the amount of hours you should see in a month is 60, because 2 hours times the 30 days is 60 hours. But because we're going to Disney and the weather is going to be beautiful, I know that I might be able to even surpass 75 outside hours. So I did 75 outside hours, pushed myself a little bit, and to make up maybe for a little bit of outside hours from last month, I'd like to have a self-care day. That could be just like doing a face mask and going to the bookstore. That could be getting a coffee and editing for a day. I just want to have a day all about me and putting my peace and my mental health first. I'm excited about that. Maybe I'll vlog it, maybe I won't. I'll kind of decide how I feel, but I definitely want to do a self-care day. Next is I want to clean out my closet and my clothes for spring. I actually have already scheduled to do like a spring closet clean out and resetting my space for spring on, I'm trying to think, on Monday during my lunch break, and then before and after work I plan to film that because it'll be like starting May on the right foot, which I'm very excited about. I've got so much crap. Who doesn't, right? And I just need to get rid of a lot of clothes that like I don't really wear anymore. Next is social media Sundays, 3 hours. I remember writing this. Oh, I know exactly what this was. I said before that I want to limit social media. I think when we cut cold turkey and we dive in way too strong, it becomes difficult. We feel like we're restricting ourselves, and I don't think that that's healthy. So what I'd like to do is I'd like to only be on social media for no more than a cumulative of 3 hours on Sunday. Now, I'm not going to include YouTube with that because I like to watch YouTube before bed, but I'd like to be only on social media for 3 hours on Sunday, no more really like at all, or even I'd love to do it less than that. So I'm gonna make that a healthy habit this month. I kept saying I was gonna do 2 walks a week, 3 walks a week, be a walking girl. Who am I? That's not working for me, so instead I put 1 walk a week because the weather's gonna be nicer, and I think that that feels a little bit more attainable. Sometimes multiple make me scared, and then I don't do it on the weekends. We are always moving around, so we're gonna do 1 walk a week, and let's see how that goes. A Corey date night, I put a Corey date night because I want him to pick whatever he wants to do, whether it's at home, whether it's out and about, but I want him to pick whatever he wants to do, and I would love to take Corey on a date night. Next is I'd like to have 2 Insta posts a week. Now, that could be reels, that could be a photo dump, that could be a photo, that could be whatever it is, but I want to post in feed on Instagram twice a week in the month of May, so I'm excited about that. Enjoyable mornings, I find myself, since we've come back from Florida, I've been sleeping in a little bit longer. In Florida, I was getting up at 7 a.m. every day. I loved it. I got out of bed around 7:30, got ready for the day, and had a full hour before the work day. Since I've been home, completely scratched. I want to have enjoyable mornings. I want to test out some morning routine things and just be a little bit more of a morning person. I'll never be 100% a morning person. Like Corey goes to the gym every morning and is like rip-roaring, and that's just not going to be me. But I do think the mornings to read and have a nice cup of coffee and start the day as someone that works from home, I'd really like to start enjoying my mornings. I'd like to put $1,000 in my personal savings account this month. The last 2 months we've really been focused on a lot of Disney money, a lot of emergency fund, rainy fund money, and a lot of wedding money, and I would like to start putting money back into my personal savings for our house and for our car. And then next is I'd like to cook 2 new recipes. I love cooking recipes, and we've just been really off kilter, off swing with it, so I would really like to get back into that. Now those are my 12 things to accomplish. You'll see underneath that it says 5 stretch goals, whether I spelled stretch correctly or not. Let's just leave it at that. However, these were things that in past months I was never accomplishing, or things that I really, also the sun is like really coming in right now, so if I look really white and washed out, let's just pretend I don't. And these are just things that I have either not been able to accomplish in previous months, or they are something that I feel like is a stretch for this month and what's going on. So they feel like if I attain them, wow, and if I don't, that's okay because they're a stretch. Also, I really hope that you guys are okay with this absolutely like crazy like bleach white lighting, but I'm very comfortable sitting down and I don't want to get up and close the curtain. So my 5 stretch goals this month are drink 2 Stanleys daily of water. I said this year that I wanted to drink more water, and in Florida, let me tell you, I was drinking water like a fish, and since being back in this cold weather, I got no interest at all. I have no interest to drink water. I don't like it. I don't want to drink it. I want to drink a diet soda and iced coffee and a fun beveragino, and that's it. But I need my water. We need water to survive. So that is something I'd like to stretch myself to do this month. I'd like to put $1,000 in our wedding savings. That feels really stretchy, going to Disney, saving $1,000 personally, paying Disney off, and then putting more money in savings. I'm gonna try, fingers crossed, but I know that there's like certain things that sometimes it works and sometimes it doesn't. All right, if we've had a little bit of change, it is because my camera battery might be close to dead and my memory card is almost out of footage, so I really need to upload that and get that organized. But anyway, we were on $1,000 of wedding savings. It feels like a little bit of a stretch. stretch. However, if I could be financially good with my money this month and really prioritize that saving, it feels like a stretch, but I want to prioritize personal savings over wedding savings, so that's why it's in my stretch goals. The next is Monday through Friday, no social media before 9 a.m. I have to like really try to kick my ass out of this social media thing. The first thing I do is Corey and I talk like, okay, I'm gonna scroll for a little bit. Like that's what we call it. I need to stop scrolling in the morning. I want to set the alarm, get out of bed, little stretch, little coffee, like nice little morning juju. I don't need to be scrolling on Instagram at 7 in the morning. So I really want to try to do Monday through Friday, no social media before 9 a.m. I would like to do one face mask a week. I just got the new Tatcha like Radiant Skin foundation, skincare, dear Lord, matte face mask, the Tatcha Radiant Skin face mask, because people have raved about it. It was on sale during the Sephora sale, and I've always wanted to get better skin face masks for my skin because I have eczema, and sometimes I feel like around, you can't tell too much, but a lot of that dryness now with allergies and the change of the seasons and leaving Florida and not being in the sun as much anymore, I think that my skin could use a little bit of like some TLC. So I would love to try that. So I picked up that face mask, and I think that will motivate me to try to get one face mask a week. But again, it's a stretch goal. And then lastly, 2 new coffee shops. Now, the problem with the reason why the coffee shop is a stretch is because there's not really a lot of coffee shops in the town that I live in, or just like in Connecticut, I feel like, for the most part in general. So that's why it's a little bit of a stretch. Maybe there's some places in Rhode Island that we can visit, or just like things that we can do. So I would like to try 2 new coffee shops. Again, it feels like a stretch. Could we include a Disney coffee shop in there? Maybe, because it would count. But either way, those are my May goals. I'm really excited that I tried a little something different this time. I feel like this is gonna be what works for me. I think the bucketing out felt a little bit restrictive. I want to try to give a little bit more of like a chunk goal setting a try. So I am very excited about that. But we just finished up with my May goals, so let's head into my current favorites and my of the month series. All right, let's get into it. This month was a little challenging, honestly, for my of the month series, because I feel like, who has a million favorite products every month? Like, I feel like I use the same stuff all the time, and I feel like I don't have a lot of this, like, I don't have a lot of different things that are coming into my life every month. But the thing I am most excited to talk about, well, let's just get into it. So let's start my of the month series, because I'm like rushing through because I'm so excited. We're gonna start with my book of the month, and it was The Housemaid. Oh my god, this must have been probably the best book that I have read in honestly maybe ever. Like, this might be my new favorite thriller of all time. It was amazing. It was basically about a couple who was hiring this like other woman to come into their house and like kind of clean up after them, and like in theory be their housemaid and like be around the house with them. But it just took so many turns, and there's on the back of the book it says, you know, and before I knew it, I was, you know, locked in the attic. And it's amazing. It was just like the best thriller. It caught me so off guard. I am someone that can like figure things out, and let me tell you, I did not figure out a single thing about this book. I loved the way that it was written. It was written in 3 parts, part 1, part 2, part 3. Part 1 was from the point of view of the housemaid, part 2 was from the point of view of the wife, and then part 3 was from the point of view of the housemaid again. It was amazing, absolutely incredible, best book, best everything, like 5 out of 5 stars. It was amazing. The Housemaid, best book of the month. Next was my TV show of the month. Corey and I are back in our like Food Network food show era right now. It's not on Food Network, but Next Level Chef on Fox, I think Corey said. We love Gordon Ramsay, Richard Blais, Nyesha Harrington. I love them, and Next Level Chef is basically where they get these different chefs. They could either be professional, social media, home cooks, and they're from all over the country, and they all come together, and there's a basement, a middle floor, and a top floor. You try to, you know, outcook your other components. You're on teams. There's people that go home. It is an awesome show, and I really, really love it. So we're back in our kind of like cooking show era, because we don't really have cable. We don't have cable, but we can watch this one on Hulu, so we are back on, and that was an amazing show, and we have been loving it so far this month. Next was my drink of the month. This is not a new drink, it's just a drink that I'm really loving, and it is the Mango Dragon Fruit Refresher from Starbucks. With the sunshine and the few warm days and just like coming back, there is nothing I want more in the afternoon than a refresher over a coffee sometimes. It's just delicious, refreshing. I really like the mango dragon fruit refreshers. Corey always gets his with lemonade. I personally like mine with water. I don't love it with lemonade. It's like a little too sugary, too sweet. Almost has like a little, like when it does that little bite thing in your mouth, like, so I don't love it with lemonade, but I love it with the water. And it has been delicious. So I have been absolutely loving that. And then now let's go into my products of the month. So again, I feel like I had a little bit of a hard time kind of like picking my products of the month or products that I was really loving, but I did pick 5, so let's talk about them. The first was my Dagny Dover backpack. We use this to go to Disney with, not in the parks, but just to travel to Disney with. I've used it on the plane. I've used it coming to Corey's mom's now. The backpack is soft. It is comfortable. It's got the slide thing that goes over your like carry-on luggage for the plane. I love this bag, and I know that it's just a backpack and it's probably like, well, it's not probably expensive. It is, you know, a pretty penny. I got it for Christmas from Corey, but it is the best travel backpack. I cannot wait to bring it to Europe this summer and to Disney, and just like as I'm traveling, it is just the perfect thing in the world to have. So that has been a true favorite this month. Next is my Walmart coffee like cups. My mom buys this coconut cream coffee pods for the Keurig at Walmart, and I love them with coconut creamer. It is like my favorite way to drink hot coffee. It's like the only way I enjoy drinking a hot coffee unless it comes from Starbucks. And being in Florida, I haven't had the opportunity to have those because it's been hot. So we came back to New England and I've been drinking them, and they are so good. So I would say loving that right now. Next is my Anthropologie claw clip. I can put a little photo up here of me wearing like my hair in that fun little like swoopy bun thing. But that Anthropologie claw clip is really cute. It holds up my hair nice, and I'm just enjoying it. I feel like it's a really pretty color. I like the size of the clip. I like the style of the clip. It's not that same like kind of square boxy clip. It's more of like a rounded edge, which I really like. And then my last favorite product of the month is the e.l.f. Putty Blush, the Luminous Putty Blush. I am wearing it today with a little bit of the dibs. You can't really tell, I feel like, as much because the sun is like really kind of shining through today. But let me tell you, drugstore blush, oh my god, it's amazing. I love it. I use it with my Dibs Duo brush, or I use it with the e.l.f. like Pro blending brush or whatever it is, and I just absolutely love it. So with that being said, that is the May reset. I feel like I'm ready for May. I'm ready for a new chapter. I'm excited to put my mental health and my peace first. I'm excited to go to Disney. Corey and I have been waiting for this trip since December, where we've gotten to go in between. I am just so excited to finally get on this trip, because this one feels like we've been waiting a really long time for. And I'm just really excited to see how these new goals go for me this upcoming month. But thank you all so much. I hope that you'll subscribe. Stick around if you're new. We have a beautiful little corner of the internet around here, and that's really all I've got. So I love you guys so much. Thanks for being here for the monthly reset, and I will see you in the next one. Bye everyone.